I started off with baseball as my first sport, and then I think at around 8 or 9, I started playing football. You know, obviously, with my brother's background, that was a big part of that, getting led into that. Started in the backyard with them, but I think my first organized was flag football, 8 years old. Always played quarterback. I don't know why, I don't know, that stuck with me. Dad always wanted me to be a quarterback, but yeah, I was playing for Williamsport when I was about 8 years old. It's a small town. I mean, it's nice there though. You got the Little League World Series, that comes around once a year, which is a great time. The environment is just, the whole town changes when that comes in. It goes from a little small town to being this, big city thing. You got people coming in everywhere, so that's a good time. But it's really known for baseball, really. So I mean, coming out of there for football, there's a lot of guys coming out of there for football now, which just makes it, the town's starting to get recognized, which is nice. When I was little, I went there all the time. I was just a little kid, sliding down the hill, and then I'd always try and compete to get in there. Unfortunately, never made it. But as being on the baseball team there at the high school, you work the camps there. You go there during the World Series. You work the tents and stuff. It's a good atmosphere and it's a good time to be there. Yeah, my dad, he played baseball. He went to the University of South Florida, ended up getting drafted, going Double-A, played for the Phillies organization and the Pirates. So he was a pitcher, and I guess that's where I get my arm from. So, he's still out in the yard throwing with me and stuff. My two brothers, Jake, he walked on to Penn State as a safety. His senior year at high school, he suffered an injury, which caused him to have to walk on there. Earned a scholarship there, played under Joe Paterno and Bill O'Brien under that era. So, that's a great honor for him. Seeing him do that really inspired me. And then my Jared, he's the second oldest. He walked on to Akron first. Then he transferred to Penn State for football and then played baseball at Penn State. So he's really done it all. I mean, we call him the jack of all trades. He can do it all. And also, seeing him go through that adversity, obviously inspired me too. So those guys have a big impact in my life and how I want to be a man and stuff. Those guys being older than me, they didn't, them being 10 years older than me didn't matter. Competition was still high, didn't matter. They weren't taking it easy on me, taking on little brother. I still remember, going out there. I mean, I'd be begging them to go out and play. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And they'd finally say, all right. And we get out there, no mercy for Joe. Beat him up, rub his face to the dirt. But it made me tougher. It made me. I still look back and love those times. Playing basketball, football, and baseball in the backyard. I still look back at those times and say, man, those are great memories. Even though I was losing a lot, still, shaped me to the man I am, and just really, built that competitive spirit for me. One last thing is, me and my brothers have this little game that we play. It's called Clash of Clans on our phone. It's so weird, but me and my brothers, we even get competitive about that. So that's just a weird fact about me. I'm a big country fan, love country music. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's coming from PA or Williamsport. I love country music. I've been to one concert, and it was a Luke Bryan concert, so maybe that's something too. So country music's a big part of me. What else is there? I love watching basketball for some reason. Never played it. Love watching basketball playoffs and stuff. Me and my brothers always get into it, just over the playoffs and stuff. Yeah, my dad, he'll drive anywhere. He'll drive to California to go watch me play football. I mean, that's his life. I mean, that's what he loves to do. He loves watching his son go play football. I'm the youngest, so it's the last opportunity he's got to go watch. But he's a great fan. I mean, having a dad like that, that helps you out a ton. He's got your back no matter what you're doing. I mean, I could be third string and he'd be coming to the games, coming to support, taking pictures after the games, tell me what I could be doing better, what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, just having a father like that really helps out with your confidence. So yeah, it was a bit of a long journey for me. I started my junior year in high school, started getting some looks, had a good season, caught a couple small Division I offers, and then I think halfway through my senior year, Maine called me, told me they were interested, and then I think Coach Charlton came to watch me come throw. About a week later, he offered me a scholarship. That I came up here on a visit. And then during my visit, that's really where I got sold on this place. I mean, just meeting the team, just the atmosphere here, and like how they set their goals. I like the whole family aspect about being up here. It was really just one team, just the brotherhood of being up here. And then once I came up here, it was pretty much, this is where I'm going to be. I want to be a part of that with the coaching staff and those players. And what they did last year, I want to help build upon that. Yeah, I think you always come with expectations into your first year. But for me, it was hard. I didn't know what my role would be, but I knew coming in that whatever my role was, I was going to do the best I could, no matter if it was, signaling, like anything. But getting that opportunity to get on the field and then excelling in that opportunity means a lot to me. It's a really good honor. It's a great honor, honestly. And just having that, looking back on that, you're saying, all right, but you got to keep rolling now. It's nice to have those awards, but a lot of it goes out to the teammates and my coaching staff. But just looking for the next couple weeks to keep going off of that and hopefully get some more wins.
It's your Mitsubishi. Find it at Quirk.
What motivates us at Casella?
I want to help our customers recycle as much as possible.
Because I care about the environment and how our company impacts our towns.
And at Casella Organics, we find new uses for all sorts of materials.
It's hard work.
But I'm helping people every day.
And that makes me feel like part of the community.
A community I care about. So I do everything I can to sustain the resources of our environment.
Casella, dependable, caring people, part of your community.
I know you're not supposed to look straight at it, but...
Man, it looks delicious.
Get ready for a whole new way to start the day. Introducing the great-tasting, plant-based Beyond Sausage Sandwich. Only at Dunkin'.
What makes a legacy? It takes more than bravado, more than your attitude, or the face you show to the world. Your legacy is your story. The place you carved for yourself in history, and who you helped along the way. The actions you take to earn it. The things you do even when the sun isn't around to see them. Our legacy, helping you build yours. Visit FisherPlows.com or your local dealer for more information.
My name is Alexander Watson. I'm a fourth-year mechanical engineering major, and I am on the men's swimming and diving team.
And you're originally from?
I'm from Brimfield, Massachusetts.
Got it.
I had been to the university before, just like visiting for various events and things. I went to the Consider Engineering program here before in high school, and just the engineering opportunities that were available at this school were the most attractive part. Kind of happened to be on the swim team in high school, and I walked onto the team when I got here. I think the engineering coupled with the opportunity to continue my athletics career were really attractive things about the school. I was sold on engineering. I kind of viewed mechanical engineering as a very general field of engineering. So I wasn't really just doing a general engineering curriculum, but I was in a field where I felt like I could mold it into what I want to do. And that's kind of where the 3D printing comes into play, because the first couple of years I was here, I didn't really know, like, mechanical engineering is kind of cool, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. And I had seen the 3D printing club in like, like the org fairs that they have in the beginning of the semester. And I'd wanted to see what they were about more. I didn't really become involved with the club until my junior year. At that point, I joined the club, went to as many meetings as I could, hung out in the lab space as much as I could, and that's kind of when I was discovering that that's what I want to do. So just over my junior year, I learned more about 3D printing and kind of how it ties into mechanical engineering, and at this point, it's something that I'm interested in pursuing at a career level. 3D printing in general has grown and is continuing to grow. There are printers that are available to the general consumer now. Most people can afford to buy a desktop printer if they wanted to just tinker around with 3D printing at this point. which is great. I kind of view it as like the same kind of thing. I didn't really grow up in the era where I saw like in-house printing become a thing, like just regular printing on paper, but I kind of view it as the same kind of advancement where people can have their own 3D printer in their house now, which was unheard of, you know, probably like 10 years ago. Just seeing what's happened on campus here at UMaine with 3D printing kind of reflects what's happening outside of the campus. The 3D printing club is on its 5th year, I believe. So it was founded 5 years ago. A lot of what the club does, specifically in the spring semester, is that we print out parts for a lot of the mechanical engineering and mechanical engineering technology capstone projects. It's kind of built in that capstone teams are able to get parts that they need, like little jigs and mounting brackets and stuff. They can send those up to the club and then we can print them out for their projects. So a lot of capstone projects, if you were to like take a walk around and take a look at the different mechanisms and machines that have been manufactured in the past, you'll see 3D printed parts on most of them that came from the 3D printing club lab. So in terms of like functionality, that's probably where we get the most functional parts that come out of the lab. A lot of club members print their own you know, little life hack sort of tools and things through the lab. One of my friends recently printed a custom like utensil holder for his drawers because he couldn't find any that were small enough for these little drawers that he had in his apartment. So we're one of the only clubs, one of the only engineering clubs, like if not the only one that has like its own like space, because we've got to have somewhere to hold all of our keep all the printers that are being used, and we have a system where club members pay a nominal fee that covers the material that they can use and any maintenance done by or any parts that are needed to do maintenance on the machines. And when they pay that fee, they get access to the fleet of printers that we have, and they get a certain amount of material that they can print with. What we try to do is give people the tools to prepare the models for the machines that we have. So there's a software called the Slicer. We give them a few different options for different types of slicers so they can print with almost all of the machines that we have pretty easily. And we also direct them towards resources to find 3D models online. So you don't have to be able to model something yourself. You can find things that other people have modeled, slice that, and then print it out with the club. And we also are trying to, like if people want to take it a step further, we're also teaching people how to create those 3D models themselves. So we show them the types of software they need to create those models, teach them some techniques about how to best design something so it's more successful when it gets printed out, things like that. Yeah, I'm really excited about what that means for the club in terms of, you know, being, or for the university in terms of being noticed in like the additive manufacturing world. And when I say additive manufacturing, that's kind of like the general term for the type of manufacturing that includes 3D printing. That puts us on a lot of people's radars, I think. I've personally shared a lot of people, like a lot of different national news outlets covering the 3D printed boat, and I'm like, hey, I was there when they were unveiling that thing. I was in the same room as this. I took a selfie with this giant printer. And it's just really cool to see something that I've been tinkering, like, it's kind of something like I've been tinkering with the same kind of technology on a small scale, but then they took it and made it huge, and it's right here on campus. I walk by the building that has the world's largest plastic 3D printer in it, you know, every day. So it's just really exciting to see where that goes, and what kind of things they're going to do with it next. I'm kind of looking around at my options right now. I'd like to possibly continue doing, maybe continue my education and do some research into additive manufacturing here at the university. There are some big opportunities available for that here with the world's largest printer, as well as other 3D printing technologies. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of other 3D printing challenges and technologies that the University of Maine is looking into, besides things related to the world's largest printer. So I'm kind of laying the groundwork for that right now to try and continue my education here and do some research with those other technologies.
What motivates us at Casella?
I want to help our customers recycle as much as possible.
Because I care about the environment and how our company impacts our towns.
And at Casella Organics, we find new uses for all sorts of materials.
It's hard work.
But I'm helping people every day.
And that makes me feel like part of the community.
A community I care about. So I do everything I can to sustain the resources of our environment.
Casella, dependable, caring people, part of your community.
Do you know your Maine dairy farmers? Chances are we're a lot like you. We are parents, grandparents. We are small business owners. We are a part of our communities. We are your neighbors. We are undeniably dairy.
No matter what size adventure you're into, the award-winning family of Hyundai SUVs has something that'll make everyone happy. Lease the Hyundai Tucson for $229 per month. It's your Hyundai. Find it at quirkhyundaiofbangor.com.
Try a $2 medium latte, cappuccino, or Americano from 2 to 6 p.m. The holidays run on Dunkin'.
What makes a legacy? It takes more than bravado, more than your attitude, or the face you show to the world. Your legacy is your story. The place you carved for yourself in history, and who you helped along the way. The actions you take to earn it. The things you do even when the sun isn't around to see them. Our legacy, helping you build yours. Visit FisherPlows.com or your local dealer for more information.
So we're in Crosby Hall here at the 3D printing lab. This is where we have all of our machines and basically where we operate from. So the machines are kind of separated by type. So we've got Ultimaker machines over here. These are called Prusa printers. Over in this corner we have some Creality machines. This is our biggest printer. It's got a 1/2 meter cubed worth of build volume, so you can get 500 milliliters in every direction. If you wanted to print a 1/2 meter
cube of material, you could do that on this printer. We've kind of got some display items over in this area, just showing off the capabilities of what we can do here. Just about everything you see here has been 3D printed in our lab, with a few exceptions. So we've got one of our newest printers. This is another Prusa printer, but it's one of the newest versions, so it's a Mark III as opposed to a Mark II. We have a resin printer here, which is a totally different process, but it's really great for getting high resolution models off of it, because it's actually curing a ultraviolet light cured material on the bottom, and then it takes this plate and it lifts it out of the vat for each layer that's cured on the base. You can kind of go through the entire process here because we have the different slicers and stuff downloaded onto our lab computer. But from a, if you're coming in here to start prints as a lab technician, we have this form where we get responses from club members, and we can go through and grab their code from this link and then put it onto an SD card. And then from there we can take the SD card and plug it right into our machines. So all the machines we use have these SD cards that we can plug right in from the computer. Yep. And then from there you can just go click. They have different ways of doing it, but on this printer it's print from SD card. You click that, you pick the material that you're using, and then I think I hit the wrong button, print from SD, and then this shows all the different files that are on the card. So you can select one of those and it should start printing we have something printing out over here if you wanted to see it working. So right now it's just putting down the first layer, arguably the most important layer of the print, because if the first layer doesn't go down, then the rest won't. So these are little benchies, is what they're called. That's kind of short for a benchmark. And these are, we have so many of them because the model itself has a lot of different features that kind of showcase the ability of the printer. Like this angle here at the bottom. It helps to show if your machine is properly dialed in. So if you have a machine that's not dialed in as well, the benchy's not going to be as good quality. I might be able to find one that's not as nice. Here's one. It looks like it was printed with a little bit of a bigger nozzle, so we can compare it to this one, where you see like there's more of these lines on the top of the roof and stuff. So it's just things like that is what you look for when you're printing out a benchy or like a benchmark print. Yeah, a little tiny benchy. Not great quality. This one's a little nicer. Yeah, oh, the engine block. Yeah, I got our big guy. Oh man, it's heavy, yeah. I think this is arguably, you know, in terms of mass, this is the biggest thing we have. You had to change the roll a couple of times because it used up one of the rolls and you had to go into the next one. This was printed before I got here, but I've been told that it took many days. Like, the most common material for a while was ABS, and in order to print with ABS, you need to have a heated surface to print onto, and you need to have like an enclosed area. So like this machine right here was kind of developed in the heyday of ABS. So you can see it's like completely enclosed here, and you can't really see it, but this build plate would have to heat up in order to make the ABS stick to it. And because of that, machines had to be, you had to design this whole enclosure part too to go with the machine. And then as advancements with the materials were made, PLA emerged as like the easiest and cheapest material to print with. Yeah, you can print like I think that gave rise to machines that look like these, where there's no enclosure or anything, and really all you need to worry about is getting all the parts in that will move the extruding head around. So the easier you can make the materials to print, the more options you have with the machines and making them cheaper. You don't have to pay for as much if you just have like the skeleton sort of design. And then right now the majority of materials that are affordable to the everyday consumer are just like these different types of plastics that I've been talking about. But there are advancements being made to get like metal materials made for consumer use, or just different types of you can put wood in material. There's a lot of research being done at the Advanced Structures and Composite Center with wood filling inside of the material to try and use Maine's resources. We got a lot of trees, so things like that are kind of on the forefront of what people are trying to figure out. How do we make the materials more printable? So there's a lot of people looking into that. There's a lot of people looking into that here at the university, and I'm excited to see what comes from that.